The sense of independence you get from having a personal airplane is immeasurable. If you love light airplanes and you don't already have one, the airplane you should go for depends on your flying needs and missions. So which airplane is for you? The progressive Aerodyne Searay is one of the best seaplanes you can get your hands on in the market today. This airplane comes in 3 options: the Searay, the Searay Adventure, and the Searay Elite. The Searay Elite is factory-built, FAA certified, with a 115 horsepower Rotax 914 turbocharged engine and Garmin G3X Touch avionics. The second option, the Searay Adventure, is also factory-built, FAA certified, but here you get to enjoy flying in its purest form, featuring analog instrumentation, manual flaps, and 3 different choices of Rotax power plants. The third option, the basic Searay, is an experimental airplane, which means you get to customize it as much as you want. Design-wise, it's not the sleekest or the best-looking airplane from the list, but it is the best bet for that money. Performance-wise, you're looking at a cruise speed of 90 to 100 knots, useful load is close to 600 pounds. Now the best part about the Searay is the price. You can easily get into one of these airplanes for only $120,000. And if you search well enough in the used market, you can get into one of these planes for less than $60,000. The Seamax M22 is another great amphibian airplane just like the Searay. The Seamax is a light sport aircraft with a sleek design that ditches the traditional look of a float plane. One convenient feature of the M22 is the fact that it can operate using premium auto fuel, making filling up the tanks a breeze, especially if you choose to take it for a spin on one of Florida's many lakes. The Seamax comes in 3 models: the Seamax Performance, Seamax Exclusive, and the Seamax Exclusive Dual. They all use the Rotax 912 engine. The Performance trim provides an exceptional useful load, extreme versatility, powerful performance, and aviation in its purest form with analog avionics. The Exclusive trim brings a hybrid panel, combining the Garmin G3X touchscreen avionics with analog gauges, making it perfect for training purposes. The Exclusive Dual trim is the loaded version. This trim brings 2 Garmin G3X touchscreen and a Garmin G5 avionics. This version comes with an integrated communication system and engine integration system. They sell at $148,000, $162,000, and $168,000 respectively. If you want a recent design, then the Icon A5 is a good option. The Icon A5 makes flying more exciting and more accessible than ever before. In my opinion, this airplane is very good by design and it has a lot of cool features. One of them being the folding wings. The wings can be folded aft for ground transport and if you want to store it in your garage at home so you won't have to pay hanger or tie-down fees to anyone. The Icon A5 is fitted with the Rotax 912 engine. This powers the airplane to cruise around 95 miles per hour and you have a nice useful load of about 500 pounds, depending on the configuration of the airplane. The A5 is considered the premium brand for seaplanes because this airplane is not cheap. Starting base price is $269,000, and then, depending on the extra features you choose, it can drive the price up to $400,000. If you don't like the Icon A5, then the Aeronautica Super Petrel LS is another good airplane to consider. One of the first obvious things you notice about this aircraft is the biplane feature. I don't know if the double wings make it fly better or that's just for looks, but design-wise, this airplane looks good. And just like the Icon, you have a Rotax 912 engine, but with the Petrel, you can also opt in for the Rotax 914 turbocharged engine. The base price for the Super Petrel is $175,000, and that's if you wanted a less powerful Rotax 912, which is also fuel injected. Or, if you opt in for the turbocharged Rotax 914 engine, you will pay a little more. And with these engines, you get a nice climb rate of 1,000 feet per minute in the 912 engine and 1,400 feet per minute in the 914 turbo engine. The cruise speed is roughly around the same depending on which engine you go for. So, you're looking at 80 to maybe 120 miles per hour with a nice useful load of 537 pounds, and you can fly as far as 600 miles. If you want something near the practicality of the Cessna 206 stationaire, then go for the Seawind 3000. This airplane is a great choice for a family trip. The cabin can fit 2 adults and 3 children, or 4 adults in total, and the panoramic view is a fun addition for those wishing to take it on sightseeing flights. Also, this seaplane goes fast. The cruising speed is 190 miles per hour or 165 knots at 75% power, although most pilots tend to fly at 55% power, not even taking advantage of the speed at their fingertips. You can get this airplane with $100,000 in the used market. VL3 Evolution. Sometimes you want to get from A to B as quickly as possible, and let's be honest, speed is fun. Sometimes you can compromise comfort for speed, but the Evolution offers comfort, stability, and a lot of speed. The VL3 is one of the fastest side-by-side seating aircraft on the market, and it exists with both fixed and retractable landing gear and is fully personalized to your needs. The VL3 Evolution uses the 100 horsepower Rotax 912 engine, which helps it to cruise at 160 miles per hour, climb at 1,300 feet per minute with a range of 1,600 miles. With $160,000, you can get this airplane brand new. The Bristell B23 is another great airplane to consider. Introduced in 2010, while the airplane looks very similar to the classic Aero Bristell, the fuselage is longer and the tail is larger with an aluminum rudder. The flaps and stabilizers are bigger and better. The composite main landing gear legs have been redesigned completely to be able to carry much higher loads than previous Bristell models, and the aircraft's handling characteristics are much improved. In addition, the B-23 comes standard with the BRS Ballistic Parachute Rescue System. This aircraft is a popular modern trainer used by flight schools, with its lovely glass cockpit, which ensures excellent visibility, and the use of a Rotax engine, making it a good, economical choice. This airplane uses the 100 horsepower Rotax 912 engine, which helps it cruise at 130 miles per hour, climb at 700 feet per minute with a range of 800 miles. With $230,000, you can get this airplane brand new. If you want performance, then consider the Vans RV8. The RV8 is undoubtedly one of the most efficient airplanes on this list. It achieves unprecedented efficiency through careful aerodynamic shaping and lightweight structure. For the owner, this represents significantly lower operating costs and simplified maintenance. This airplane uses the Lycoming IO 360 engine, which powers it to cruise at 210 miles per hour, climb at 1,900 feet per minute with a range of 1,000 miles. You can build this airplane with less than $100,000. For the exact build price, please head to the Vans Aircraft website for estimates. If you want extraordinary efficiency, then consider the Swiss Excellence Risen. This airplane is an exceptional performer of innovative design with unparalleled efficiency and safety, with top-level avionics included. The Risen is fitted with a Rotax 914 turbo engine, generating 115 horsepower, which helps it to cruise at 200 miles per hour at 9,000 feet over 1,000 miles, with a rocket climb of 1,600 feet per minute. With $215,000, you can get this airplane brand new, and the best thing is, you can fly it with just a recreational pilot license. If you want a STOL, then consider the Just Superstol. If you're willing to trade speed for versatility, it doesn't get much better than a Just Superstol. Simplicity and durability are the defining characteristics of the Superstol. The excellent control harmony at low speed it offers will make you want to keep on flying. This is a plane that will take you directly to your destination, even if your destination has only a 400-foot space with a swamp at one end and a 2-story building at the other. The Superstol can take you there. This airplane is made to fly from pastures, clearings, and driveways. Any runway is more than adequate. Even if there's no runway at all, you have no problem. With a fuel burn of only 4 gallons per hour, the hourly fuel cost in this aircraft runs as little as $15 per hour. Using the 100 horsepower Rotax 912U engine, this airplane cruises at 100 miles per hour, climbs at 1,000 feet per minute with a range of 450 miles. With $75,000, you can build this aircraft for yourself. If you want an excellent modern training platform certified for both night VFR and intentional spins, then consider the Pipistrel Virus. Introduced in 1999, based on the design of the Pipistrel Sinus, the Virus is still similar to the Sinus, except that its wingspan is shorter, and this makes the aircraft fly faster, with the compromise of being reduced glide ratio. This is a very capable touring aircraft. With long-range tanks, it has 7 hours endurance at 120 knots, and with a higher wing loading, it cuts through heavy turbulence with ease, unlike its competitors that easily get bounced around in the air. The Virus is certainly an efficient and economical aircraft. The fast roll rate and excellent visibility make it perfect for sightseeing flights. Overall, the Virus is an extremely nice package that will fit in most hangars. With a range of 900 miles, cruise speed in this aircraft is around 170 miles per hour using the 100 horsepower Rotax 912 engine, which is significantly faster than most of its light sports rivals. With $180,000, you can get this airplane brand new. Whenever a general aviation enthusiast hears the name Lancair, speed, and lots of speed is the first thing that comes to their mind. The Lancair Mako is no different. Production of the Mako started in 2018. With the Mako, the emphasis is on usable performance, not just on-paper bragging, but real-world responsiveness you can count on every day. Starting with a sturdy composite airframe that's built to stringent utility class standards, the Mako is designed for the long haul. This uses the 350 horsepower Continental IO 550 turbocharged engine, which helps it to seat 4 people and cruise at 225 knots or 417 kilometers an hour, climb at 1,900 feet per minute with a range of 1,100 nautical miles. This is the Stoddard-Hamilton Glassair III. The only language this airplane hears is "get there fast." The painstaking aerodynamic refinement of this airplane helps you get the maximum out of every gallon of fuel without compromising Glassair's nimble yet docile handling characteristics. The Glassair III is an all-composite improved variant of the earlier Glassair II with retractable landing gear and a 300 horsepower Lycoming IO 540 engine. It has 2 seats side by side with dual controls and can fit wingtip fuel tanks on it for long-range missions. This airplane uses the 300 horsepower Lycoming IO 540 engine, which helps it to cruise at 272 knots, climb at 2,400 feet per minute with a range of 1,100 nautical miles. If you want a 4-seat personal airplane with the performance of a jet, then go for the Lancair Evolution. This airplane offers performance that's in the very light jet category. Currently available in both turboprop and piston engines. The turboprop version comes in 3 different engine options. The turbine version of the Evolution is powered by the 750 horsepower Pratt & Whitney PT6 engine with a maximum cruise of 300 knots at 25,000 feet on a fuel burn of 39 gallons per hour of Jet A. But if you throttle back to an economy cruise of 270 knots, it burns 23 gallons per hour. The Evolution turbine has a full fuel payload of 837 pounds and 61 knots flaps down stall speed. The piston version is powered by a 350 horsepower Lycoming IE2 engine and has a maximum cruising speed of 270 knots on a fuel burn of 22 gallons per hour of avgas. But at an economy cruise speed of 240 knots, the fuel flow is 17 gallons per hour. Both airplanes are pressurized. The piston version flies at a maximum of 25,000 feet, while the turbine can fly up to 28,000 feet with 4 occupants and luggage. If you want a Cirrus in the experimental category, consider the Van's RV-10. This is the first 4-seat airplane in the popular RV series. The prototype first flew in 2003, and the kits have been in production to date. When Vans introduced the RV-10, 3 engine configurations were planned. One configuration using a smaller 210 horsepower Continental IO 360 engine, and 2 others using the larger 235 and 260 horsepower Lycoming IO 540 engines. The Continental engine was discontinued after most builders indicated that it poses problems due to the engine displacement limitations. Currently, the RV10 uses the Lycoming IO 540 engine, which helps it to cruise as fast as 180 knots, climb at 1,400 feet per minute, with a range of 800 miles. The Sling 4 was built to be the most practical and desirable lightweight, 4-place experimental aircraft on the market. The main difference between the Sling 4 and the Sling TSI is that the TSI is aerodynamically cleaner and structurally beefier than the Sling 4, and the TSI uses the bigger, more powerful 141 horsepower Rotax 915 instead of a 115 horsepower Rotax 914. This is an aircraft with an uncompromising mission to offer unrivaled performance, safety, and reliability in the hands of all pilots, no matter the mission. This airplane uses the 114 horsepower Rotax 914 engine, which helps it to cruise at 130 knots, climb at 800 feet per minute, with a range of 700 nautical miles. The Vans RV12. Fun, speed, affordability, and high performance are the defining characteristics of the Vans RV12. This is a tremendous little airplane, fast enough to go cross-country and economical enough to just put around and do some sightseeing flights. It has excellent performance with a takeoff roll of just 400 feet, and even less if you're flying solo. In flight, the controls are very smooth and responsive. Since introduced in 2008, and one of the main selling points since then is its low operating costs. Using the 100 horsepower Rotax 912 engine, the RV12 cruises at 130 miles per hour, climbs at 900 feet per minute, with a range of 500 miles. Looking at four-seaters. This is the Sling TSI. This airplane was built to be the most practical and desirable lightweight 4-place experimental aircraft on the market, and it has been critically acclaimed for its capabilities, effortless handling, and all-round functionality. It comfortably seats 4 with luggage and still cruises effortlessly and efficiently, making it the ultimate in affordable cross-country flying. Using the 141 horsepower Rotax 915 engine, cruise speed is 148 knots, 1,000 feet per minute climb rate, and a range of 900 nautical miles. Piper PA-28. Introduced in 1961, the PA-28 series includes famous names such as the Warrior, Cherokee, Arrow, and Archer. The main difference between the models are cabin configuration and engines, ranging from 140 to 300 horsepower, but they all share the same reputation as a reliable training airplane. This airplane is famously known for forgiving errors both on the ground and in the air. The PA-28 is much less twitchy in the air than other training aircraft. With less sensitive controls, it's much easier for the pilot to maintain an altitude without the need for constant elevator trimming. But the PA-28's landing performance is what makes this plane among the easiest to fly. It's less prone to ballooning than its competitors. The PA-28 is so stable that it will practically land itself. This aircraft uses the 150 horsepower Lycoming IO 320 engine, which helps it cruise at 120 miles per hour with a range of 535 miles. The prices for the PA-28 vary depending on the model you're buying. Pipistrel Panthera. Introduced in 2013, the Panthera is designed with the most modern design and construction techniques. This is a multi-purpose airplane, a speed machine, a perfect personal airplane. Features of this plane include an airframe ballistic parachute designed for use at high speeds and low altitudes, and a glass cockpit. In addition to that, this airplane has forgiving flight characteristics. The Pipistrel Panthera has an all-composite airframe made from carbon fiber, glass fiber, and Kevlar, and its sports trailing link retractable landing gear made of titanium and aluminum alloys will be of benefit for operations from grass runways. The composite materials used for the exterior of the aircraft were selected in part based on their ability to withstand lightning strikes, which merit increased consideration when employing composite materials instead of a traditional aluminum airframe. The engine it uses is the 260 horsepower Lycoming IO 540, which helps it to cruise at 230 miles per hour and a range of 1,000 miles. Buying this plane brand new will cost you about $600,000. This is the Cirrus SR22. For a fixed-gear machine, General Aviation's most popular airplane offers performance that's more typically associated with retractables. Perhaps equally important, the SR22 has a generous-sized cabin that will easily accommodate 4 adults. Using the Continental IO550 engine, the SR22 cruises at 211 miles per hour, climbs at 1,200 feet per minute, with a range of 1,000 miles. Whether you're a new aviator looking for the perfect first airplane or an experienced IFR pilot with discerning tastes, this airplane is for you. The price for this plane is about $850,000. Diamond DA42. Introduced in 2002 by Diamond Aircraft of Austria, the DA42 is Diamond's first twin-engine design, as well as the first new European twin-engine aircraft in its category to be developed in over 25 years in 2004. The DA42 became the first diesel-powered fixed-wing aircraft to cross the Atlantic Ocean. While the low operating costs make it an ideal advanced trainer, the DA42 is easy to fly and burns fuel like a single. Also, one of the safest 4-place airplanes in the market today, safer than the Cirrus, even with their parachute. For those of us who don't want to spend what it takes to fly a turboprop, the DA42-6 is the perfect airplane. I'm in no way saying that it performs anything exactly like a turboprop, so please don't bury me in the comments section. Also, the DA42 is a complex airplane, not your normal trainer. The Diamond Star uses 2 168-horsepower Austro E4 turbocharged diesel engines, which helps it to cruise at 203 miles per hour with a range of 1,400 miles. The price for a brand new DA42 is about $650,000, though you can get a used model for less than $300,000. These are the Cessna Corvallis and the Corvallis TTX. Both Corvallis airplanes use the same big 310-horsepower Continental IO550 engine. Both are great and fast airplanes, capable of fast non-stop trips like New York to Atlanta, New York to Toronto, Miami to the Bahamas, or Los Angeles to Las Vegas. If you need to cover long distances fast, this airplane is for you. These models cost around $500,000 to $800,000. Because they're no longer in production, you can only buy a used model far less. Diamond DA40 Diamond Star. Based on the success of the earlier DA22-seat aircraft, out of all the airplanes on this list, the DA40 Star is one of the most fun to fly. With excellent visibility from its bubble canopy, the DA40 is a favorite among the general aviation world. This airplane is light and easy to control. Since it is essentially a powered glider, if the engine did fail, its rate of descent would be lower than the SR22 with its parachute deployed. Because of this, the DA40 safety record far surpasses Cirrus and statistically has only one fatal accident per 1,000 airplane years. The plane is very difficult to stall and easy to recover even if it does stall. Landing the Diamond Star isn't particularly difficult, but there is a knack to it. The renowned visibility actually becomes a hindrance in this respect, and the unusual over-the-nose picture can cause many pilots to commence the landing flare too high. It also has a tendency to be floaty if the flare is commenced above 65 knots. Slower is better for this particular steed. The DA40 uses either a 180-horsepower Lycoming IO360 engine or a 168-horsepower Austro diesel engine to cruise at 175 miles per hour with about 800 miles range. Whether you're a new aviator looking for the perfect first airplane or an experienced IFR pilot with discerning tastes, the DA40 is the smart choice. The price for a brand new Diamond DA40 runs about $500,000, but you can get a used model for less than $100,000. This is the Mooney Acclaim Ultra. Mooneys are about more than simply speed, however. The type offers strong climb performance, typically 1,200 feet per minute. They're comfortable machines to fly, reasonably easy to maintain, and they offer better range than practically anything else in the class. With nearly 1,000 pounds of useful load, the Acclaim cruises at 278 miles per hour over 1,000 miles using the 280 Continental IO550 engine. If you need a speed machine, this airplane is for you. Looking at family airplanes. Number 1 is the Cessna 310R. The 310 was one of the first twin-engine airplanes made in the United States, and over the years, it's gone through several different models. The 310R is the latest and last production model that was introduced back in 1975. There are a lot of great features about this airplane, but the most important one is that you can carry up to 5 passengers. With one pilot, 6 people will fit in this airplane. The best part is that it's not at the cost of fuel load. In this plane, you have a lot more payload, over 2,000 pounds of useful load. A lot of that will be your fuel, but you will have enough room to carry more passengers. Another great part is that you're not flying with all of these people at snail speed. This airplane can fly as fast as 190 knots. The downside is that the 310 is not on the low side when it comes to maintenance, since you have retractable landing gear and 2 different engines, which means it will cost more to maintain. You can find them anywhere from $80,000 to $150,000 in very good condition. Number 2 is the Beechcraft Baron 55. Just like the Cessna 310, the Baron 55 is also one of the first twin-engine airplanes made in the US. It has used different types of Continental engines. The early models used the 2 IO470 engines that produce 260 horsepower each. The later models have more powerful engines, which is the Continental IO520 turbocharged engine. This airplane is fast. It can cruise at 200 knots and travel close to 1,000 nautical miles non-stop. With those retractable landing gears and 2 engines, the Baron 55 is a complex airplane, just like the Cessna 310, which means it costs more to maintain. The best part is it can carry up to 6 people and climb at well over 1,600 feet per minute. What's the price of a Baron 55? Early models of this aircraft can be found for as little as $95,000 if you explore hard enough. However, expect to pay between $150,000 and $250,000 for a decent aircraft in excellent condition. Number 3 is the Piper Aztec. The Aztec has a lot more performance than most planes on this list. By a lot more performance, I don't mean speed, but range and payload. The Aztec can carry up to 6 people and go 1,500 miles. The downside is that this airplane is not particularly fast. The maximum cruise speed is 187 knots with a climb rate of 1,400 feet per minute. Despite the fact that you're not going to climb or fly very fast, the Aztec is hard to beat in terms of range. Another good feature about this aircraft is the stall speed. This plane can only stall at 59 knots, which is particularly great for a high-performance airplane. You can find the Aztec for as low as $100,000, but if you want one in beautiful condition, budget between $200,000 and $300,000. Number 4 is the Piper PA-34 Seneca. If you want more speed in a Piper aircraft, then the Seneca is for you. This aircraft was first introduced in the 1970s. It's similar to the PA-23 family in terms of payload and useful load, but it beats them when it comes to performance. Unlike the PA-23, you can cruise a little faster on the Seneca at 188 knots and travel up to 1,000 miles with 6 people on board. I've seen one listed at controller.com for just $75,000, but a typical price is anything between $100,000 to $200,000. Number 5 is the Piper Cherokee 6. If you don't want to deal with all the complexity that comes with a high-performance aircraft, like retractable landing gear or twin engines, then the Cherokee 6 is for you. Don't expect it to perform like the others on this list because you only have one 300 horsepower Lycoming IO540 engine in front, but you have enough useful load to carry up to 6 people, climb at 1,000 feet per minute, cruise at 146 knots, and fly 800 miles. The best thing about this plane is the maintenance cost. Since you only have one engine to worry about and you have a fixed landing gear, your operating cost per hour is much lower and you'll be paying a lower insurance rate too. You can get a Cherokee 6 for as low as $100,000, but if you want a more recent one or one in excellent condition, $200,000 is enough to get it. Number 6 is the Piper Saratoga. The Saratoga is basically the Cherokee 6 with tapered wings, retractable landing gear, and better avionics options, which makes it better for flying IFR. The cabin is very roomy and comfortable. A big rear cabin door lets you load just about anything in. Most Saratogas have the club seating option, which is great for businesses and families. It uses the same engine as the Cherokee 6, and the performance is similar, but when it comes to pricing, you can get a Saratoga in good condition for anything from $150,000 to $250,000. Number 7 is the Beechcraft Bonanza A36. Bonanzas are great values when it comes to doing what Bonanzas do well, which is haul a whole family and go places fast. Speaking of comfort, the A36 is not as wide as some of the others in its class, but it offers excellent head and leg room so that even tall pilots can sit upright with their feet flat on the floor, and visibility is great. The downside is that how much you pay for this plane is only a small part of the problem. With older V-tail Bonanzas, maintenance costs can be both high and unpredictable. With a true airspeed of 165 knots with 6 people on board, its ability to fly long cross-country legs in comfort is hard to beat. I've seen a 1970 model listed for $150,000 on controller.com, but on average, they sell for anything between $200,000 and $350,000. If you like our videos, please smash